So, two questions I want to talk about today. One, what are the three ingredients of transformation? And then two, how was the dinner? So if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the episode, or if you're just catching up, we had a intuitive eating, mindful dinner last night. And I want to share with you about that. And as I share with you about what happened during the intuitive eating dinner, I'm also going to be covering the three ingredients for transformation, because these three ingredients, which are insight, small habits or small steps, and relationships, these three things are interwoven into the dinner. So I'm going to keep the dinner pretty high level. I'm not going to talk about individual stories. I'm not going to go into personal details or anything like that. But what was interesting was that everyone agreed there was no other thing like this that they had ever experienced. And that was what my intuition was going into the event. This dinner was a safe place for people who struggle with food. And interestingly enough, what separates this from Overeaters Anonymous, what separates this from a Weight Watchers group, what separates this from another thing is that we actually eat food. We actually had food in front of us. We actually ate. Like before the dinner, we had a little guided meditation get us into our body. And then halfway through the dinner, we actually paused or brought awareness about 20 minutes in to just check in with our bellies. And we talked about how some of the food smelled and how they tasted, and everyone shared how they were bringing intuitive eating and health at every size to life in their life. One lady shared about how she was catching thoughts. Another one shared how difficult it was for her to stop emotional eating at work. Another one shared a powerful transformation story about how her doctors had put her on various diets which had caused her to gain weight. And after she started listening to her body, her waistline dramatically shrunk. And this was so powerful for me to hear because she had actually never heard of intuitive eating before. She had actually rediscovered intuitive eating for herself. It was like she became an intuitive eater without reading any of the books. And to me, that's how it's supposed to be. We have this innate intuitive eater that's within us. And for her to tap into that without reading about the book, just feeling it in her body, that was, and then seeing results too, that was amazing. One other quick story, we had this container where people were talking about struggling with food and asking questions about what it meant to be an intuitive eater. And I remember one guy saying like that he comes from this place of deprivation. He's always eating to fill this place of deprivation. And he said, I'm not hungry right now, but I want more food because I feel emotionally deprived. And we said, it's okay to feel emotionally deprived. We're not going to try to change that. And then he kind of put his hands over his chest. If you're listening, I'm putting my hands on both my shoulders. I'm making an X over my chest. And he kind of went like, this is what I need. He kind of like hugged himself. He's like, this is what I need. And then we gave him encouragement and validation. We said, yeah, that's what you need. That's what's going to fill your heart up. That touch, that warmth, that self-love. That's what's going to fill you up. And so if you've noticed just by these little tales about the dinner, we're talking about one of the first elements of sustained long-term transformation, and that is relationships. When we belong to a group, we try to fit in subconsciously. That's what humans do. We try to belong. We try to fit in. And when the group norm is intuitive eating, we will integrate. We will try to become an intuitive eater to fit into the group. So that's what we're doing here. It's like the Weight Watchers strategy where, in Weight Watchers, they say accountability is the key. Well, in Weight Watchers, they have you weigh in on a scale. And that brings the group together over the scale, over the ritual, over the common experience of having to eat, of having to step on a scale. Now, there's a ton of things wrong with that because it's shaming when your weight doesn't go down. There's just a ton of different things that are wrong with that mentality, but they're trying to get at the same thing. They're trying to bring the group together, create that group experience, because they know humans on their own are going to forget, they're going to lose motivation, but as a group, when you belong, you're damn well going to commit in a powerful way. And that's one of the first ingredients of transformation. The second ingredient, small steps. This is interwoven into the dinner. First of all, it's interwoven at the dinner when we're given intuitive eating instructions during the dinner. For example, pausing halfway through, noticing how full we are. As the meal winds down, noticing how full we are and checking in with our emotions. Before the meal, getting grounded and mindful. And then even afterwards, just noticing if we learned anything, if we still are hungry, noticing the taste, how the taste goes up when we're hungry, and then the taste goes down when we're starting to get full. These are all like little practices and tools and ways we can apply intuitive eating principles to our life. And so this dinner context, we are applying intuitive eating to the food in front of us. And it's a beautiful thing. And we're also noticing that the happier we are, the slower we eat, the less food we need. We're able to get emotionally and physically full on less food. And it's not because we're trying to have less food. It's just that when you're present, when you're happy, when you're eating with friends, when you're connected to your body, you just don't need as much food to fill you up. So that's a beautiful thing. So that's kind of how the second ingredient of transformation was happening along these in these groups. The third element was insight. And insight is what I mean by weight loss enlightenment. Enlightenment is an insight. It's not that you're losing all this weight and then feeling lighter. It's that you're seeing weight loss differently. You're seeing weight loss way differently. One woman said that she had not lost any weight, but that her waistline and belly had gotten like inches smaller. She said, if I go by the scale, I'm misguided. If I go by the scale, I am gonna just obsess over the scale. So by giving up the scale, I can listen to my body. I can return to my body with clarity of mind. So that's an insight. And people had their own insights. This one woman at the end, she, don't want to give any away personal details here, but she had, she said to me, you know what I learned here? I learned that it's okay for me to be upset. It's okay for me to be sad. It's okay for me to be anxious. I don't need to pretend or hide or cover up my negative feelings with food. It's okay for me to feel bad. And I was like, yes, yes, that is an amazing insight. Yes. Because when we confront, face, heal, integrate our negative emotions, that's the only true way we can stop emotionally eating, stop this binge eating cycle. So those are some insights. And then lastly, these three things, relationships, small steps, and insights, if you imagine an upward spiral, so you go up 5 steps to the right, or just imagine like you go up, you go down a little bit, but not as far, back to 0. You go up a little bit more, you go back down a little bit more. You go up a little bit more, you go back down. So maybe you go up 10 steps, you come back down 5. You go up another 10 steps, now you're at 15, you go back down 5, now you're at 10. That's 10 higher than you started. Transformation is like a spiral, an upward spiral. You go up 5 steps, you go down 5 steps. You eat a few meals mindfully, you binge eat. You eat a few more meals mindfully, you binge eat. You eat more meals mindfully, you binge eat less. You eat more meals mindfully, you binge eat less. Maybe you start eating more, getting grounded in your body, and then you stop, and then you start to decrease the binge eating and decrease the emotional eating as well. Now, transformation occurs over time. And that's why these dinners are going to be periodic. We're going to shoot for every month or every 6 weeks, something like that. And so that people can come together, they can get to know each other, they can support each other in between dinners. And that way they know that 6 weeks from now or a month from now, there's going to be another dinner. There's going to be another dinner. I'm gonna come back to this group. I'm gonna get reconnected. I'm gonna get replugged in. And that every time you replug in, it like recharges you to go up another spiral, to go up another loop. And why I say this is because these 3 ingredients of transformation, that's what I personally experienced. You know, for me, a lot of my struggles have been more with social awkwardness and relating to people. And for me, and getting back into my body. So for me, when I joined the monastery, I had these 3 things. I was meditating all day and getting tons of insights into how to relate to my body. I was stuck in a community, so I was forced to develop relationships. And then thirdly, I was taking small steps every day. And so my heartfelt desire, you know, I spent 13 months in this freaking center. And my heartfelt desire is to bring that transformation experience to people. I'm also coming from a background of getting my master's degree in counseling. And so I'm used and exposed to the traditional model of talk therapy, which is you talk for an hour once a week. And that's good. Me personally, I've done that for years, and I think I'll stick with it for the rest of my life because I feel that it's good when you really got a good therapist and he or she's able to help you sort out your emotions. You're just a better person. But it's limited. It's limited. There's no relationship building other than the therapist. There's no education really for further insights. And the small steps don't always happen. You know, sometimes you just talk and nothing really is acted upon, right? It's just a great conversation. It's very insightful, but no small steps. And so when you combine my experience as a monk and my experience as a counselor, you're getting my expression right now in these intuitive eating dinners, which is hopefully, setting this rich stage for transformation to occur for people. So, you know, I work with people one-on-one, and in that program, there's videos, there's worksheets, there's growth partner accountability calls. So you're not just talking to me, you're actually talking to someone else in the program as well. You're getting exercises and challenges and group calls, and you're coming to these dinners. So these dinners are, these are great for building community, for building relationships, for my clients who I'm really trying to serve well. It's a way to enrich their experience working with me. We talk on the phone every week. They get maybe a video or a worksheet. We might read a chapter in one of these books. So they're learning about the mindsets outside of the talk with me. And then they go to these dinners and they're interacting with people. They're working with food. And then some of these people they meet at the dinners are also doing group calls together, and they're doing accountability calls together. So we're getting this like rich network of experiences, of ways we can hit these 3 ingredients of transformation. Insight, right? So when people work with me, they're getting insight working with me. They're getting small steps through the worksheets and videos. They're getting further insights in the reading. They're building relationships with me, but they're also building relationships with the community. They're also applying this. They're taking small steps in a realistic training scenario with food. They're in a community, and they're also getting penetrated on all sides by insights and small steps, and they're supported. We have a group text channel, and this kind of interwoven. If you're listening to the podcast, I'm making my hands and I'm swirling my hands together because it's very interwoven. Unfortunately, traditional talk therapy in which I'm trained is so linear. Once a week you talk for an hour. It's very neat and clean. And I hope this new brand, this new model of therapy, this new model, I'll even say transformation, because it's not just therapy. It's really not. Therapy is a part of it, but it's more than that. So I hope this brand of transformation catches on. I hope it catches on. So that's kind of some context into this whole driving force. My sole desire is to get people massive transformation in 6 months. Massive transformation in 6 months. And you know, right now, it's just I'm working with a few people. We're going through this integrated, interwoven transformation, multi-layered, talking with me, group calls, worksheets, reading, you know, this living transformation experience, so much more powerful than regular therapy. And from my expression, my desire to help people transform, the dinners evolved out of that. They said, oh, wow. I said, oh, wow. They can't just work with me. No, we have to normalize. We have to create this group norm where it's kind of like a given that intuitive eating is the norm. You're not an outsider, you know, because so many people in this society, they're the only one in their family. They're the only person who's intuitively eating. Maybe they don't feel understood. Maybe they hate themselves because of their struggles. But when you're in a group with other people, that self-hatred can ease. You can become part of a group, and you can get that other aspect of motivation and transformation that so many therapists are missing. So, with that being said, I'd love to work with you. If you are interested in an integrated, interwoven experience of transformation, reach out to me. What I'm doing right now is where you pick your own adventure. It's kind of an interesting thing where you can go to my scheduling page at weightlossenlightenment.com, and then it's free strategy session. So weightlossenlightenment.com/free strategy session. And then you pick which of the benefits you want. And then you're gonna get a video and a worksheet that's gonna introduce you to the challenge. It's an initiation that's designed to get you a little bit out of your comfort zone. And that way, when we have our complimentary call, you're able to talk to me about your initiation challenge. So we're able to get some juices flowing. And that way, when we have our free call, we can actually get you a significant boost forward in your intuitive eating journey. And then I'll tell you a little bit about the end about how I work with people and what the pricings are and so forth. So if you're interested, weightlossenlightenment.com/free strategy session. Look forward to working with you potentially. And if not, the community events are always going to be here. There will always be these community events. This is a beautiful thing, just bringing people together over food and practicing intuitive eating. So many things. All right, peace.